Oh my gosh, I just stopped and then I had an epiphany. Oh my gosh. It isn't that they're 35,000 years old, because like I said before, I think each age is its own reality. So each age has its own separate reality, even if it happens in the same place of what we think of as like Earth. So, but if if it can live through an age, so I think an age is 26,000 years. But if they are higher vibration beings, aliens and stuff, then they are able to transcend time. That is why they can live so long. Because each thing is its own reality. And if you can move from realities, then you can transcend time. There is no time. So it's our own concept of time that kind of holds us back, because that's part of this transition of us, coming to the reality of that we're not what they told us that we were. We aren't just here to be their little monkey slaves, that we are, here to learn about ourselves, And, another thing too, speaking of monkeys, because that's who they messed with in the beginning. With the DNA, I think there was some sort of apes or something that they turned into the original slaves, but they kept changing the DNA. So anyways, it was them who did it, not just evolution. They had a hand. So, but, because these people don't care anything about us. Like, I think that a lot of the stuff they get us to argue about is just so they kind of have fun. So they get us to argue about something like race and stuff like that, when I think that they just think it's funny. I don't think that they think anything about it. The only thing that I think about it is that I think the more melanin in the skin, that it has like a higher, I don't know what the content would be, like higher iron, higher. There's something in it. And iron or blood carries our information. And so it is, like you get born, like your soul goes into this avatar, but your cells and your DNA, see, it goes out and it becomes you. That's the confusion why so many people get so merged with their avatar. You have a harder time separating, because you come in and you become a part of the avatar, your soul does. So that's why, even when you're out there dead in soul world, that people in this life will recognize you for how they know you, because it's an imprint of a soul recognition. Like, there's so many things about soul stuff that but I think it's kind of like people aren't really caring about that too much. But anyways, so I think that is why they are trying to kind of dilute it. And I think that is why, the more melanin someone had in their skin, the more that they were put into places like ghettos and stuff like that, so that they could be held down. Because that was like, if it carries the purest point of spirit, so they've got more spirit connection in their body, and then it is more connected naturally. So what better way to defeat those people but to imprison them and make them feel like that they can't get out of it? So I think that's part of the agenda. I don't think it has anything to do with, like, the color of your skin is like the color of your car. I've said it doesn't matter. It isn't even like you pick the color on a soul level, but in the physical, you don't have any awareness. It's not like you're like, oh, I want one of those white ones, like, I don't know. That's all part of their manipulation, and how to it's part of, if they can keep us distracted from what they're doing by us arguing and stuff, and then they think it's funny, because we're so easily led, we're so easily maneuvered into fights and stuff. That just shows ignorance. And you can see, it's coming to the surface. You can see how ignorant it is, some of this stuff that people argue about. So you can see why people were called cattle and sheep and, breeders and all the mean stuff that they've called us. But anyways, so, but that is what it is. They don't just live like hundreds of thousands of years. They can just transcend time and realities. They can go into different realities, and this reality is based on time. So then we think that they've lived a long time, but really it is that they've transcended time. So hopefully that makes sense, because it sure makes sense to me. So I just wanted to share that, because when I had left off and I said, oh, they're 35,000 years old, I don't even understand what they are. Some of these kind of minion kind of people, like they're all over in our society, but people who became a part of the corrupt part of this world. And, like, I don't know what all got people to sell themselves. That's like what I call selling your soul, because you have to repress yourself to be in such a dark place, to be, you can't, your soul's not thriving, because your soul isn't about that. I mean, there is some that they can be at peace with negativity because they understand the balance between positive and negative. And some people know they're bringing a negative charge to things at times. So, that isn't the same as coming in and then kind of selling your soul for, worldly things so that you can have, a bunch of money, but you are throwing, all these other people to the wolves. So, that's out about, that's where you've made a mess. You've made a mess of your karmic situation. There's no getting out of that. But I don't, it gets so complex when you start talking about any of the stuff with the soul. That's why there's no way to even judge, like I can't sit here and go like, oh, all these people they're going to be in big trouble with their car, because I don't even know. I don't know how many of them were contracted to come in and play that part, like, because there is no good or bad. There's only lessons. We just want to give it a value. So, but really there is no good or bad. There's just lessons. It's all just lessons. Oh my gosh, she's going to have a nervous breath. I opened the door a minute ago. This is the thing with timing. It has nothing to do with me. I open the door, and the one neighbor's across the street who hate me, and when he walks by with his big giant dog, he gets so mad if my dogs bark because someone's going to draw attention to him. I don't know, because he shuffles and he's overweight. I don't know what his problem is, why he's so paranoid. I mean, he's an older guy. Like, why would you be worried about somebody's going to look out the window and see you walking by, weirdo? Do it 2 times a day, 3 times a day. So anyways, I opened the door to let Stella in because she was at the door like this. And right when I did, then she takes off running, and it's them, right? I mean, the timing, it looked like I opened the door to let her out to run down and bark at him. Because I know how he took it. Because that's, their confrontation like that. But that wasn't me. That was the universe doing whatever, maybe they needed a trigger today. I don't know. Who knows? Everything is so woven into such perfection of all of our lessons and how we intermingle with one another. It's artistry. This if you think of an age being a quilt that is each of us as the thread, then just imagine what a beautiful story this quilt will tell for this age. I mean, there was so much learning. So much. Oh, it's making me emotional. Anyways, I'm going to go let her in. I'll talk to you later. Bye.